What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing tonight? I'm going to go over some trade candidates for 2021. I'm going to rank them. Are they going to get traded? Are they not going to get traded? Let's get to it. And what is going on, baseball fans? How you doing? Hello. I am seeing 20 people in the chat right now. What is going on? A lot of familiar faces as always. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good week so far. I believe it's Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday. What's going on? What is going on? Odd Villain, Chupapi Muñano, Ed Meyer, Jackson, hello, welcome. Sean Murphy, hello. Jonathan Miller, Daniel Wells, what is going on? Jay Money, I think I said that right. Blobfish is here. What is going on? Blobfish, hello. Jonathan Miller, what's going on? Aiden Stones, what's going on? Hello. Southsider 14 was here. XXXMLG. XXM, what is going on? Sports with AJ was here earlier. If I missed anyone, hello, what's going on? Hopefully we get some more people trickling in by the end of the night. So I wanted to do a live stream tonight. I wanted to go over some trade candidates for the 2021 season. MLB.com did an article on some players that could be on the move possibly this season, where they talk to some executives around the league thinking, what are the chances of this player or that player getting traded? So those players that were listed in the article I am going to talk about tonight, and I also threw in a couple of my own just to kind of make it a little more fun. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. But before I do get started, I want to give a shout out here in case any of you missed it. Mr. John Means of the Baltimore Orioles threw a no-hitter today. That is already, I believe, is that the third no-hitter? I mean, if you count Madison Bumgarner's, what is that, 4? I know I was able to do 2 live streams. So you had Carlos Rodon, you had Joe Musgrove, Madison Bumgarner had the 7-inning no-hitter, and now you got John Means. I mean, I feel like we're just having no-hitters all over the place. I mean, goodness gracious, it just turned May, and we're already. I mean, if you count Madison Bumgarner, that is already your 4th no-hitter this year. That's just crazy, man. I remember thinking, back how long ago? 10 years ago, where if a guy threw a no-hitter, it was like it just never really happened all that much. And now I feel like in the last few years, I feel like you're seeing at least a few of them per year. To me. Man, when was the last time a perfect game was thrown? When was the last perfect game? Last perfect game, MLB. Back in 2012, Felix Hernandez. So, to me, I'm looking for that perfect game. I mean, we almost had one with Carlos Rodon. So, to me, that perfect game, while the no-hitter is very, very difficult to do, I feel like you're just seeing so many of them now. And, yeah, I mean, I'm very excited until when we can see that perfect game, whenever that decides to happen again. But John Means, fantastic performance today against the Seattle Mariners. No hits allowed. He actually was close to a perfect game. He had a wild pitch, 3rd strike. That is nuts, man. I mean, goodness gracious, a wild pitch, 3rd strike. I mean, that's 2 no-hitters now where you were this close to a perfect game. That's just how hard it is to throw a perfect game. So, again, John Means, fantastic performance today. Just a real quick look at the box score before I move on to the main topic of tonight. Again, 9 innings. He struck out 12. He's having a really good start to the year. John Means has been awesome. I mean, he pitched against my Red Sox one game. He was really good. So, hey, John Means, man, he's always had the talent. It's just a matter of if he can just put it all together. And, hey, he's having a really good start to the year. what can you say? And this Mariners lineup is really nothing to to shy away from either. This is a pretty decent lineup so far with this Mariners team. So, hey, good performance for him. And what else can you say? No hitter. That's as good as it gets. But let's get to the main topic of tonight. So here are all the players that I have listed on Tier Maker. So as you can see, I have 5 different categories. I have very likely. I did put a maybe in the middle just because, we still got some time before. This is still pretty early. It's the beginning of May. So, you kind of have to let things play out a little bit. I do think some of these players are, in my opinion, very likely to get traded. But there are still some maybes on here where you're going to have to wait and see what happens over the next couple of months with some teams. And then I have unlikely and very unlikely. I think I have 21 total players here. If I missed anyone, please let me know in the comments. I think at least in my opinion, I put all the guys. A lot of these guys are, on the last year of their contracts. Some of these guys have been rumored to be on the move in this last offseason, even the offseason before that. So let me know if I missed anyone. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. But before I do get started, if you can, hit that subscribe button if you are new. We're trying very hard here to get to 7K by the All-Star break. We were able to get to 6K by opening day. We achieved that goal. It might be a bit of a stretch to get to 7K. The channel, the traffic has been a little slow across the board, across all baseball channels. So, besides, Mr. John Boy over there, he is just killing it with all the breakdowns and everything. They got a great thing going on over there, so good for them. But for smaller channels like myself and a few other channels, it has been a little slow. So if you can, hit that subscribe button. Go subscribe to some other smaller channels out there as well. Hit that like button for me, everyone, if you can. That's really going to help this get out to more baseball fans. Go follow me on Twitter as well if you would like to talk some baseball throughout the day. I am always welcome to a tweet being sent my way. So go follow me on there if you would like to as well. So here we go. All right, so real quick, just going to do one little quick thing here. So in the chat, while I'm just fixing this real quick, let me know, before I do get started, who is the player that you think is the most likely to get traded by the trade deadline this year? Let me know in the chat. Who do you think is the one player that you think is automatically going to get traded? Let me know in the chat real quick. All right, and I'm going to put the music on. All righty, while you guys are coming up with some names, I've just got to do one quick little thing here. All righty, here we go. All right, so I'm seeing Trevor Story. I'm seeing Kris Bryant. I'm seeing Anthony Rizzo. I'm seeing J.P. Crawford. Oh, Jose Ramirez. That's one I left off as well. Whoa, Sean Murphy with a Rafael Devers. I don't know about that one. That would be crazy. Rafael Devers. I'm seeing a lot of Trevor Stories. I'm seeing a Sonny Gray. Chris Sale. Wow, Chris Sale. Man, I don't know, man. That's a big contract. I don't know. Could you imagine, though? Man. Alrighty, so, all right, I am all good to go. All right, let's get to the tier maker. I'm going to start things off with a Mr. Javier Baez. So, Javier Baez, he's actually having a pretty decent year so far. Let's go look at the stats. I feel like Javier Baez is starting to come around with the bat a little bit. I feel like, some of the numbers have dipped over the last couple of years, but if we look at the numbers this year, as you can see, the on-base is still kind of low. The average is still kind of low, but one thing with Javier Baez that you're going to get is you're going to get a good slugging. He's going to give you power. He's going to drive in runs, and he's going to be excellent in the field. He's going to give you some speed on the bases. Hey, you got 6 stolen bases so far on the year. Javier Baez, if we look at the contract, he's going to be a free agent after this year. So the question is what's going to be going on with the Cubs? I think that's the biggest thing. We already saw the Cubs unload a Yu Darvish. If we take a look at the standings as of right now, the Cubs are 4-6 in their last 10. They're 14-16. They have won a couple games in a row. But where are the Cubs going to be at come trade deadline? They already made one move with Yu Darvish. Could you maybe unload a Javier Baez I don't know. But then there's also the fact, like, Javier Baez, there's been whispers of a possible contract extension. Is this a guy that you can keep around, for the long haul? If you take a look, Javier Baez, as of right now, he's still only 28 years old. I would imagine if you're the Cubs, you got a few players. There's Anthony Rizzo, too. I can't believe I left him off. So for right now, I'll let you guys kind of, at the end, maybe we'll talk about some players that we left off. But Javier Baez, to me, you've been hearing his name get floated around a lot more than an Anthony Rizzo. You did hear his name come up a little bit this past offseason. So Javier Baez. Oh, and you know what, real quick, I actually want to real quick just go over this article that I saw today to kind of just let you know what kind of inspired me to do this stream tonight. What was that article? They got rid. It was on the front page like all morning, and then all of a sudden it's just gone. Here we go. So they did an article today on MLB.com. Stars who could be dealt by Mark Feinstein. Surprises included. So before I get back to Javier Baez, let me just show you the article that I was kind of talking about. Trevor Story, he got 12 votes. So they asked 25 executives. So of the 25 executives, he got 12 votes from those 25. So let's see. The next one, Kris Bryant got 10 votes. We had Max Scherzer got 2. We had Tyler Glasnow get 1 vote. Very interesting. That's a very interesting name to include on this list. Tyler Glasnow. I'm going to talk about the Tyler Glasnow one in a little bit when we get to him. We had a couple of Mets, a Michael Conforto, a Noah Cindergard. They're going to be free agents. So very interesting. One executive thinks Noah Cindergard could get traded. That's very interesting. Corey Seager even got 1 vote. That's nuts. Like, really? Man, it's possible. It's possible, and we'll talk about it. But here's the article. If you want to go read it for yourself, it's on MLB.com. It was posted this morning. Again, it's stars who could be dealt. But back to Javier Baez. Now, could Javier Baez get traded? I would. So if I'm gonna look at this, I'm gonna put Javier Baez. I don't know. I just wonder. I feel like the Cubs would ask a lot for a Javier Baez. But then again, I don't know. So one other thing I actually want to bring up, let's actually look at one of my favorite websites, Baseball Trade Values. So if we go to the trade simulator, again, this is, a lot of people like to dog on the Baseball Trade Value system. However, it's one of the more accurate systems out there. It's very similar to the algorithms that Major League Baseball teams use when it comes to trades. I believe they have around like a 96% accuracy rate. So a lot of people will disagree with some of the things or some of the scores that some of these players get. But if you look at a Javier Baez as of right now for the Chicago Cubs, Baez as of right now, he has a value of a 2.6. It's not very high. So I kind of wonder, and as of right now, they give him a medium chance of being traded. So it's very interesting. I feel like the Cubs are going to ask for a lot for a Javier Baez because, again, he is a very good shortstop in this league, but I wonder if teams are going to want to overpay for him. So for me right now, I'm going to put Javier Baez smack dab in the middle. I'm just going to put him as a maybe because I don't know. I feel like the Cubs are going to want a lot for him. I feel like teams are not going to want to offer a lot for him. I don't know. I don't know. I'm right in the middle when it comes to a Javier Baez. I'm not quite sure as of right now. Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd up next. So Matthew Boyd is a guy where you have seen his name come up. You've seen his name come up in the last couple of years. He has not been too great in the last couple of years. If you go back to 2020 last year, very bad ERA. His ERA has always been quite high, but the one thing with Matthew Boyd is he's always had the strikeout numbers. Now, if you take a look at Matthew Boyd for this year, though, there has been a different Matthew Boyd on the mound this year. He has a 2.27 ERA. That's the lowest of his career so far. That's over 6 starts. That's very good. If you look at the difference, though, with a Matthew Boyd, he's not striking out as many guys. So it looks like he's done something differently with his approach. It looks like he's trying not to rely so much on the strikeouts like he did in 2019 and 2020. It looks like he's trying to just get more, maybe like a ground ball kind of approach, a fly ball approach. He's trying to get guys out through contact. So that is just one thing I have noticed with him. The strikeouts are down compared to the last few years. So whatever he's doing, it's working. The numbers are better. The ERA is better. That's good to see. Now, with a Matthew Boyd, if you take a look, he is a free agent in 2023. So he's not going to be a lot of money. He has another year of control. I feel like Matthew Boyd, and just with the way the Tigers are right now, they are going into rebuild mode, or they're in rebuild mode right now. They're trying to get younger. They're trying to have this new wave of talent come through the minor leagues. Matthew Boyd, to me, he's 30 years old. He's only got a couple years of control left. I mean, to me, in my opinion, if I was a general manager, I would try and get something for him, especially if he's having this good of a year. I'm going to put Matthew Boyd, I'm going to put him as a very likely candidate. I think right now the numbers are looking really good. He's figured something out. He's got a couple years of control, and I think teams will like that. And I think down the stretch, he could be a very reliable arm for a rotation. And I feel like he's never really shown anything when it comes to health. He made all of his starts last year, 2019, 2018. I mean, he makes his starts. So I feel like Matthew Boyd, in my personal opinion, is a very likely candidate to get traded by the trade deadline. Now, let's get to another Chicago Cub. This is a big name that we kept hearing in the offseason, a Kris Bryant. Kris Bryant. He's doing something this year. It's working. Well, the 2019 season, I think, was pretty good. The advanced numbers didn't look very good when it came to, like, hard hit percentage, when it came to barrel percentage. But this year, though, he is looking pretty good. Now, I want to go to Baseball Savant. Actually, I want to open up another tab. Let's go to Baseball Savant. Let's go look at Kris Bryant. Let's see how those advanced numbers are looking. Because those teams, they want those advanced numbers. They don't just want the numbers on the surface. They do want the RBIs. They want stuff like that too. But they want these advanced numbers as well. If we take a look, as you can see, he's got a lot more reds going on this year. Not as many. He's had some blues in the last couple of years. He has not had the best advanced numbers in the last couple of years. But he's starting to do pretty good here. The average exit velocity is down. He is swinging and missing a bit. He is striking out. However, he's not chasing a lot of pitches. He is walking. I mean, the expected numbers are all pretty good. He's not doing great in the field, according to Baseball Savant, but it looks like Kris Bryant has turned some kind of a corner, because look at the numbers: 320, 9 homers, 22 RBIs. Look at the OPS, above an 1100. He's having an awesome season. But he's in the last year of his deal, $19.5 million this year. I feel like, to me, I think it depends on what the Cubs want to do. I feel like the Cubs are going, out of all these guys that they have, a Javier Baez, a Kris Bryant, an Anthony Rizzo, a Wilson Contreras, I feel like one of these guys are going to get a contract extension. That would be nuts to me if they all just walked. I would imagine, to me, out of Javier Baez and a Kris Bryant, I would think a Kris Bryant is more likely to get traded, because I think the Cubs, they probably think they could sign a Javier Baez for cheaper. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think Kris Bryant, if he keeps up the season that he's having, he's definitely going to make more money than a Javier Baez. I think Kris Bryant, in my personal opinion, I think it's very likely. I think he's going to get traded. I think very likely Kris Bryant is going to get traded. He's got the numbers. The Cubs are kind of sitting around this 500 kind of a team. I don't think the Cubs have the pitching. I don't know. I just see this Cubs team. They're kind of fun to watch. They do have a fun offense, but lately this offense has been a little better. The past couple of seasons, the offense has not been all that great, but they're figuring something out recently, it seems. But I don't know about this Cubs team as a whole. I'm not quite sure about this Cubs team. I think Kris Bryant, very likely he's going to get traded. Next up, we got a Dylan Bundy on this list. And you're probably thinking, wow, Dylan Bundy. Well, the Angels, they're trying to compete. Well, if you take a look at the standings right now with the Angels, I don't know what it is, man. I want this Angels team to win. I want them to just figure something out. And every year, I don't know, they're just still sitting around like this 500 kind of a record. If we look at the Angels right now, they're 2 under 500. They lost 3 in a row. I mean, sure, you got the Trout, you got the Ohtani. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what it is with this Angels team. They just can't seem to figure it out. They're at a negative 25 run differential. I don't know, man. I just don't know if this Angels team is going to have the pitching. And I had them winning the division this year. I kind of went with a shot in the dark a little bit. I figured, hey, maybe this is the year the Angels put it together. I figured, hey, they added a little more depth. There's still plenty of more time. It's very early. I don't know. But a Dylan Bundy. Now, I could see a Dylan Bundy maybe signing an extension with the Angels. I could see that. But, I mean, if you're the Angels, if you're out of it by the trade deadline, you know, you're 13 and 15 right now. And if you're out of it, like if you're not there and Oakland just keeps winning and you're just so far out of a wild card spot, I feel like you have to look at a possible Dylan Bundy trade, you know, especially with teams needing some starting pitching down the stretch. I don't know. Like, I know they need the pitching, but if they're not in it, I mean, you might as well try and get something back for them. However, though, I could see this Angels team at the same time thinking, you know what? We got to hang on to this guy because if we need pitching and if we want to go into next season, you know, trying to put a winning team on the field, we want this guy around, you know, and we want him to be a part of the puzzle. To me, I feel like that's more likely. I'm going to put unlikely for Dylan Bundy. I think that they will listen to I think some teams will maybe make a phone call. That's just my opinion. But when it comes to an actual trade happening, I feel like a contract extension is more likely. He's done really good for the Angels. That's just where I'm at with a Dylan Bundy. Up next, I have a Luis Castillo on here. And this was a big name, a big name that came up in the offseason. Very, very interesting name. So let's go to Luis Castillo. He's had his bumps this year. Okay, why? Internet, come on. What are you doing with me? What are you doing? So Luis Castillo, one of my favorite pitchers in the game. However, this year, something has happened with the Luis Castillo. I'm not really sure what's going on. If we take a look at where the Reds are at in the standings, the Reds are actually figuring out how to win some games. They're right at around a 500 record. They're sitting right there, a few and a half games behind St. Louis. But, I mean, and that's even without Luis Castillo, not at his best. The FIP is a lot better than the ERA, but the FIP is still a little high. So it's not looking all that great. But if we look at the strikeout numbers, look at the strikeout numbers of Luis Castillo. He had over 11 strikeouts per nine last year. He had over 10 strikeouts per nine in 2019. But now that's down to 7.3. He's not striking out a lot of guys. Not really sure what's going on. I want to go look at the advanced numbers with the Luis Castillo. And while that's loading, he's not a free agent until 2024. So he has all of 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024 is when he's a free agent. So he's got a few years of control. If you look at the numbers here, all of the advanced numbers are down. He is getting guys to chase. So he is throwing some good stuff. I'm not really sure what exactly is going on. The velocity is still good. He's not walking a lot of guys, but he's not getting a lot of swing and misses. Guys are just seeing his pitches right now. So I'm not really sure what's going on with him. If there's something with the mix of pitches that he's doing. If we take a look at he's getting good movement on his stuff. This is actually more movement than it's been in the last few years. So, especially vertically. So, I'm not really sure what's going on with him. But Luis Castillo, he's only 28 years old, tons of talent. I'm wondering, I don't know, like I feel like the Reds, if he kind of keeps up this not so great season, it's a little early right now. So, I mean, I don't know. But if he's kind of sticks on this pace a little bit, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I feel like teams are going to be like, no, not really liking that too much. But let's say he does turn it around. Let's say he starts to put up some really good numbers. Then could you maybe possibly entertain it if the Reds are out of it? I don't think so. I feel like what happened this past offseason, I feel like a couple of teams, they made some phone calls, they kicked the tires, and I feel like it really got blown out of proportion a little bit. Teams make phone calls all the time. And I feel like just with him, you know, this is a guy that's been really good for the last couple of years. And hey, and I feel like the Reds were asking for the moon, and that was it. But I feel like that's pretty much what happened this past offseason. A phone call was made. Someone said something to someone. That person said something to someone else, and then it just turned it into this whole thing. But Luis Castillo, to me, I'm going to put very unlikely. I don't see it. He has a lot of control left. There's no reason for the Reds to really get rid of him. I mean, because he's going to be there for the next couple of years. I mean, if you're looking at from an organizational standpoint, he doesn't cost a lot of money. I mean, what is he? He's making $4 million this year, and if he gets a raise for next year, it's still not going to be a lot of money. I just don't see it. I feel like he would need to be a little closer. He's got so much value right now. If we look at the trade simulator, this dude has one of the highest trade values, even with a bit of a bad start. So if we take a look right now, Castillo has over 100 points of value, 103.2. That's a lot. So it's going to be a lot to get him. I don't know. I don't see it happening. I put him very unlikely. Let's stay out in the National League. I have Michael Conforto up next. Very interesting name. And you're probably thinking, wait, the Mets making a trade? What? Well, if we look at the Mets right now, again, it's very early, but the Mets have had a tough time putting it together this year. There's a ton of talent on this team. I think they're going to turn it around eventually. So I'm not really worried about the Mets as of right now. They got a very good team. But Michael Conforto, he is a free agent after this year. He's not a lot of money. He's 28 years old. If you look at the numbers, he is starting to turn it around a little bit. He wasn't really getting a lot of hits to start off the year, but he was still getting on base. The OPS is still pretty decent. He's not really just driving in a lot of runs right now. He's only got a couple of home runs. But Conforto over the last few years, he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good. This dude, he gets a lot of home runs. He drives in runs. He gets on base. Very good player. So really the only reason he's on this list is because he is a free agent. I feel like with the Mets, I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, could you maybe an unlikely candidate? Maybe they listen to some offers, and if, I don't know, maybe they could put someone else into his spot. But I feel like he's just such a big part of that lineup. I'm just going to put very unlikely, even though he is a free agent. I just feel like with the Mets, I don't know. But then again, you did just sign Francisco Lindor to that big contract. But I don't know. I just feel like with him, I think it's going to be very unlikely. My gut just says no. I just don't see it. I don't know. That's just where I'm at with Conforto. I just think he's a big part of the team. I think they're trying to win this year. I think just trading him, unless they're really out of it, which would be a shocker to me, I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I think they're going to stick with him. I think they'll try to sign him. And, yeah, that's where I'm at. Willson Contreras is up next. Willson Contreras, another Chicago Cub. So, let me take a look here at Willson Contreras. What is he actually doing so far? A lot of the attention right now is on Kris Bryant. He's having a very good start to the year. Willson Contreras, he's having himself a good start as well. I mean, 7 home runs already. A 230 average is a little low, 16 RBIs. He's got the 831 OPS. That's still really good. I want to take a look at him on Fangraphs. Let's see. How is he doing defensively? If we take a look right now at Mr. Willson Contreras, so he's defense is fine. He's in the positives. The offense is fine. Willson Contreras, he's been good. He has this year and next year. So he's a free agent after 2022. So, he is close. He is close, kind of, to free agency. So that's why. And there was rumors floating around this past offseason of him getting traded. So, but Willson Contreras, I don't know. In the end, I feel like I'm going to put him unlikely, just because, like, I don't know. I feel like just the whole Cubs thing with trading Yu Darvish, that really just set off this kind of a thing where, we just got a report. The Blue Jays, George Springer is back on the disabled list. Oh, God. The Blue Jays cannot catch a break with the health, man, with him. And he just hit a tater-tot of a home run the other night. My God. Anyway, but Willson Contreras, I'm going to put unlikely. I feel like he is someone that the Cubs would maybe want to keep around. He's a young catcher. But they do have an up-and-coming catcher in a Miguel Amaya coming up eventually. So, but I still feel like unlikely is kind of where I'm at. I could maybe go as a maybe. You know what? Maybe I'll go as a maybe. I don't know. This would be like such a fire sale. Man, oh man. This would be like fire sale city in Chicago if they traded all these guys. But I'll go with unlikely for now. I mean, he's a good young catcher. I think they would have to get a really good offer for him. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with him right now. Johnny Cueto. This is interesting because coming into this year, Johnny Cueto was a guy where, to me, I thought like, yeah, this guy could definitely really get traded because, he's a veteran guy. You got this tough division with the Dodgers. You got the Padres and the Giants are kind of just there, and you got this guy in a Johnny Cueto who's a free agent after this year. And I mean, yeah, he's making a decent amount of money, but I mean, a team could use some pitching down the stretch. He's on the IL right now, but through 3 starts this year, he's done really good. He's got 18 strikeouts in those 20 innings. He's got a 1.80 ERA. The FIP is really good. He's getting a good amount of strikeouts. Johnny Cueto's a gamer, man. And this is a team, if you need some pitching for a playoff run, that's a guy. I mean, look at him with the Kansas City Royals. I mean, Johnny Cueto, he has done it before, and he's proven himself in the playoffs. So this is a guy I think could really help out a team. But the Giants, if you look at the Giants right now, they're leading this division. They are a candidate to win a wild card spot. But I mean, it's very early. They have lost a couple of in a row, but this pitching staff has been really good. This is a team. Ashley, how are we doing? Welcome. San Francisco, they have really come alive, and they have kind of surprised a lot of teams. While you got the Dodgers. The Dodgers are in this terrible slump right now. They're 2-8 in the last 10. I think they're going to turn it around eventually. San Diego hasn't really gotten it going. Ashley, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But the Dodgers and the Padres, they haven't really gotten it going, which is weird. I don't know what's going on with these two teams, but San Francisco, they've been pitching really well. I mean, hey, they're in it. So if you're in it, if you're the Giants and you're in it by the trade deadline, I feel like you got to keep them. So I think it really just depends with Johnny Cueto. I'm going to go maybe because I don't know where the Giants are going to be. I feel like if the Giants fall out of it by the trade deadline, then yeah, I think he could be a trade candidate. But if they're in it, then you got to hang on to him. I mean, if you're going for a playoff spot, I think you got to hang on to him at that point. I'm putting him as a maybe because you just don't know where the Giants are going to be. Are they for real? Is this a fluke? We don't know. We got to wait and see. Johnny Cueto right now, a maybe for me. And here's another guy, and Adam Frazier. This is one guy where Adam Frazier, I think, could be a valuable piece for a team down the stretch. So if we take a look at Adam Frazier, this is a guy that can play some infield. He can play in the outfield. He's doing well so far this year. He's hitting 289. He's got 10 RBIs. He's got a 359 on base. I mean, this guy's doing pretty good. He's been a pretty solid player for the most part. I think this is a guy that could really help out a team that could use, maybe a guy off the bench or, if they need another, if someone goes down in their lineup, this is a guy that can come in. And this is a Pirates team that's in the middle of a rebuild. And I mean, the Pirates, they're doing better than expected. I mean, they're starting to fall off now. They're 13-16. But I mean, hey, look at the Pirates. Good for them. They're winning some games, so good for them. They're not like the laughing stock of the league. But Adam Frazier, I think, is a guy that really could get traded. To me, he just doesn't fit in the timeline. Unless they want to keep him around to kind of help with some young players, I could see that maybe. But I don't know. I just feel like he's going to be a free agent in a couple years. Maybe they hang on to him for this year and maybe get rid of him next year. But I feel like if he is doing good and a team comes to them and says, hey, you know what? We like Frazier. You guys are rebuilding. You're not in it. Hey, we would like to make a trade. I feel like the Pirates would listen. To me, I'm going to put Adam Frazier as a very likely candidate. I just think, to me, he doesn't fit in the timeline for the Pirates. And I think he could really help out a team. And he's a good veteran guy. I think he'd be a pretty solid player for any team looking to make a playoff run. Joey Gallo. Let's look at the Texas Rangers. So Joey Gallo is an interesting one. Texas, I mean, they are winning some games. They're not doing terrible. They're a few games under 500 so far. But Joey Gallo is an interesting name. This is a guy that keeps coming up in and possible trades, and rumors in the last couple of years. But Joey Gallo, this is a guy. I mean, the power's not really showing just yet. He's got a few home runs. He's only hitting 232, but he's getting on base. He's got a decent slugging. I mean, the slugging could be better, but overall, he's got a 755 OPS. So Joey Gallo, I mean, this is a guy where if you just go back to, I mean, he's a few years removed from those 40 home runs that he had in 2018. He's dealt with some health problems. I mean, he played most of the time in 2020. The average was really low, though. The on base was really low, but he's back to getting on base, so that's good to see. So I think Joey Gallo, I'm going to put him as likely for right now. I just feel like with the I don't know. But then again, I feel like the Rangers, they could see him. When is he a free agent? He's a free agent in 2023. Man, I don't know. He's only 27. I don't know, I might have to rethink this one. He's 27 years old. He's a free agent. He's got one more year of control after this season. I don't know. Do I want to put him as a maybe or a likely? I mean, the Rangers, I don't think are going to compete. They got a high draft pick this year. I don't know. Oh, I'm stuck on this one. Because I could see the Rangers maybe wanting to lock him up, but then I could see a team coming along and maybe saying, hey, why not try and add this guy? Maybe, get a power bat for the lineup down the stretch. He's got a good arm in the outfield too. I'll go with a maybe. I'll go with a maybe for Joey Gallo. I would say he's right there in the middle. I think if the Rangers are really out of it, then they definitely could listen to some offers. But then again, I could also see them being like, hey, you know what? We could get back to being a winning team in a couple of years. We want this guy in our team. Hey, let's lock him up to some kind of an extension. I'll put him as a maybe. I was going likely at first, and I'm like, you know what? After thinking about it, I'll go maybe. I'll go maybe for right now. Up next, a Kevin Gausman. Now, in my personal opinion, I think Johnny Cueto has more of a chance than a Kevin Gausman to get traded. The only reason Kevin Gausman is on this list is because he is a free agent. He only signed that 1-year deal. So Kevin Gausman, again, it's the same thing as a Joey Gallo, or not Joey Gallo, sorry, a Johnny Cueto, where and he's off to another good start this year. Six starts, 2.04 ERA. 39.2 innings, got a ton of strikeouts. I mean, he's doing really good. He seems to have found a home in San Francisco where he's just doing really good. He was kind of bouncing around here for a little while, but in San Francisco, he's been very, very good. Nine strikeouts per 9 so far. Kevin Gausman, the only reason, again, he's on this list is because he is a free agent after this year. I feel like the Giants would want to lock this guy up. I'm going to put him as a very unlikely right now. I don't see it. I feel like if anyone, Cueto could get traded. If they're out of it, I would see them wanting to hang on to Gausman more. He's younger than Cueto, so I put him as a very unlikely. Now, here's the exciting one that maybe draw a few people to this stream. Tyler Glasnow. Now, this is very interesting. Now, if you look at this article, hold on, where was that article? Shoot, where was that article? Let me pull it up here. Darn it. All right, here we go. So, looking at the article, they had Glasnow surprisingly on this list. And you know what? It's not as far-fetched as it may seem. There was one executive in Major League Baseball that thought, hey, why couldn't Tyler Glasnow get traded? And here's the thing. Here's the thing with Tyler Glasnow. The Rays have done this before. They did just trade Blake Snell. They did just trade him. And they let Charlie Morton go, which to me, that was not the biggest surprise. But they have made trades in the past. Blake Snell, one of them. David Price, another one where they traded him to the Tigers years back. And they traded James Shields. So those guys were a little closer to free agency than Tyler Glasnow. If you take a look at But, I mean, again, he's not a free agent until 2024. He's got all of 2021, 2022, and 2023. So he's got, 2 years and however many months left of this season? He's got a lot of control. However, Glasnow has seemed to have figured something out. 7 starts, 2.06 ERA. This dude is striking out 13 batters per 9. He's only walking a few batters per 9. He's added another pitch, and he has just seemed to have figured it out finally. Like where he wasn't bad before, but he couldn't really go deep into games, and he would get in these high pitch counts, and hitters were just figuring him out. He had a great fastball, an awesome curveball, but that was it. But now he's added a slider, and Glasnow is really showing a ton here this season. Now, if we go to look at his value on baseball trade values, what is his value? So he's got a 90.2 trade value. That's very high. So if you're the Rays and you're not in it, as of right now, the Rays, they've won 3 in a row, 16 and 15. They're right there. They're definitely in the mix for a wild card spot as well. I have them winning a wild card spot this year. I just feel like the Rays, you just never know with this Rays team. They've made these trades before. They've traded a David Price. They've traded a James Shields. They traded Blake Snell recently. They could get a haul for this guy. And if we go take a look at the prospects, if you take a look at the Rays prospects, they got another group coming up where, honestly, if they got rid of him, you got all these other guys. You got Brendan McKay, who's coming back from injury. Shane McClanahan. You got Shane Baz eventually. You got Cole Wilcox. You got Nick Bitsko, who they drafted. He's not going to be up for a little while. But they got these other guys like Joe Ryan's there. They got a ton of pitching in their minor league system. They got minor league players for days. So, sure, would that hurt losing a Tyler Glasnow? Yeah, that would be probably very painful for the Rays fans. But they could get some prospects for him. And if he is still putting up these kind of numbers by the trade deadline, oh boy, they would get a haul. However, I feel like he is still just a little too far away from that free agency, where I feel like they don't really need to get rid of him right now, but they could. They could. And it's the Rays. The Rays, they've made wackadoodle trades before. I'm gonna go with unlikely. I'm gonna go with unlikely, just because you never know what the Rays are doing. You just never know. They don't. I see Zachary. That is a good point. Do they really need the prospects? They do have all the prospects in the world, but hey, you're just adding riches to your riches already. I'm gonna go unlikely, just because I never know what the Rays are gonna do. I never know. You never know with this organization. They're a smart organization. They're always thinking ahead. It's possible. I think some teams maybe make a couple of calls. I think it's fun. I'm going to put them as an unlikely right now. I wouldn't say it's very unlikely. I wouldn't say that. I would not. I'm going to go unlikely. Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray. Now, this is a guy that we've heard a little bit in the last couple of years, it feels like. He's not a free agent until 2023. He doesn't make a lot of money. And he is a team option. So he's got a friendly contract. He's off to a pretty bad start this year, kind of like a Luis Castillo. I believe he's dealing with some kind of an injury, right? Let me Google that to confirm. I know he was injured. So he did pitch today. I feel like he was hurt at some point. I feel like he was kind of not like fully himself. I can't fully remember. Let me go. Fangraphs is usually good with the news. I feel like he was hurt. When was his first start? His first start wasn't until the 17th, so he had something going on. But Sonny Gray. Now, again, he's not off to the best start. However, he just pitched today. So what did he do today? He had 7 shutout innings today against the White Sox. So, yeah, this was today. He only allowed 2 hits today, so that was his best start of the season so far. So, Sonny Gray, I believe that was his 4th start. Right? Yeah, that was his 4th start. So, he's starting to come around a little bit. But Sonny Gray, could you see a Sonny Gray get traded? Now, when it comes down to a Luis Castillo and a Sonny Gray, I definitely think Sonny Gray has way more of a chance to get traded. Absolutely. He has a friendly contract. Teams could. But then again, you never know with Sonny Gray. He went to the Yankees at one point. He didn't do good there at all. He seems to do better in these small markets. If you take a look. With Oakland, he was great. And then he went to the Yankees, and he was just a total bust. And he was okay in 2017 when he went over. But 2018, he was just like, he was not that good. But when since he's gone to Cincinnati, he's actually done really good. So, Sonny Gray, I feel like you could. I'm going to put him as a maybe right now. I would put him more likely as a Luis Castillo for sure. But I'm going to go maybe just because he has that friendly contract. And if the Reds, the Reds still have a talented team. Maybe if the Reds, maybe retool this coming off season a little bit. If they kind of fall out of it, they could still hang on to a Sonny Gray for next year and then maybe look at competing next year. But then you could also trade him as well. So, and get some prospects back. But I'm going to go maybe for Sonny Gray. Josh Hader. This guy is always in the trade rumors. I feel like you're hearing less of him now, though, which is interesting because you just always hear about this guy. But this guy, he's doing awesome, man. He's got 7 saves so far for the Brewers, 0.84 ERA. This guy, he seems to have figured something out in the last couple of years. I mean, that FIP was creeping up over the last couple of years. His ERA was steadily rising. The strikeout numbers took a bit of a dip last year, and the walks went up last year. But he seems to have figured something out this year where he's back to being just that 2017, 2018 Josh Hader, even 2019 too. He's kind of gotten back to that. So Josh Hader, but with this Brewers team, they're doing really good. This Brewers team right now, they're in second. I think they have a very talented team. They need a little more offense. They really need Christian Yelich to kind of get back, start providing that offense. But the Brewers, I think they have a good team. They have a great defensive team. They have great starting pitching. Devin Williams needs to kind of pick it up a little bit. But Josh Hader, to me, I feel like they would have traded him by now, and they haven't. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put Hader as very unlikely. I just don't see it. I feel like they would have already traded him by now. And the fact that they still have him, I think they want to hang on to him. And he's doing really good. I don't see it. I think the Brewers are going to be in contention this year. I think he's going to stay put. Now, Jock Peterson is an interesting one. He just signed with the Cubs. I mean, I feel like anyone on the Cubs is up for grabs. But Jock Peterson is an interesting one because he just signed with the Cubs. So, he had a fun first game, I think, and then kind of, I don't know, he hasn't really done all that much. 132 average. He's got the 1 home run, 4 RBIs, only a 503 OPS. I don't know, man. I don't know if a team is. I mean, I could see a team maybe making a trade for him just because he is a veteran bat. He's proven himself in the playoffs. He could be a bat. He could come pretty cheap too, and I feel like he's gonna be a free agent. Then again, I think it just depends. Are the Cubs going to get an offer for him that they like? I don't know. But I feel like the Cubs, I think it's more likely that they're going to be out of it. I just don't see him hanging around. I don't think they have the pitching. I'm going to put likely for a Jock Peterson. I'll go likely. I think he could because he is a bat that could, go help a team out. He could, if they need a bit of a platoon kind of a bat, hey, they can bring him in, hit from the left side. Why not? I think it's possible. I'm not going to say very likely. I think the Cubs will listen to offers on him because he's only got 1 more year left. So, moving on, Kyle Seager. Here's an interesting one. Kyle Seager. This guy's been with the Mariners for a while now. But look at the Mariners right there. 2.5 back behind Oakland, 17 and 15. hey, this Mariners team, I've been waiting for this Mariners team to just kind of start doing something. But are they going to have enough to get what am I typing in? Kyle Seager. Let's look at the numbers so far. He's doing pretty good. 248 average, 5 homers. He's got the 22 RBIs. You'd like to see the on base be a little higher, 302 on base. He's doing good with the slugging, though, a 470 slugging. So he's a veteran guy. He's making a bit of money this year. He has an option for 2022. So I think a team maybe could find that to be, pretty intriguing that they have an option for him. That definitely can drive up the price a little bit for him. If we take a look, what is his value right now? I feel like it's probably in the negatives for the Mariners. Taking a look at Mr. Kyle Seager. Yeah, he's got a negative 8.3, but Baseball Trade Values has him listed as a high availability right now for a trade. So I think you definitely could see Seeger get involved in a trade somehow. The Mariners, they are built for the future. Probably not going to be sticking around. I don't see it. The owner made some weird comments about him this past offseason. I'm going to put Kyle Seager. I'm going to go likely. I'm going to go likely for a Kyle Seager. I think it's possible. I definitely think down the stretch, you could see him helping a team out, especially if the Mariners fall out of it, which they very well could. I don't know if they have the talent really for a playoff run. They got an exciting future. Do they have enough just yet? Not quite sure. Kyle Seager could really help out a team down the stretch, a good veteran bat. Moving on, Hermann Marquez. Now, I want to go look at baseball trade values with a Hermann Marquez. Taking a look at the Rockies. Marquez has a ton of trade value. He's got a 65.9 trade value. He's only 26 years old. However, Marquez looks like he's been getting shelled this year. He's had a pretty good couple of years for the Rockies. But right now, the numbers are not looking too pretty for Hermann Marquez. Look at the FIP. It is better than the ERA. 6.21 ERA. He's not a bad team. He's just, I don't know. He's not on a good team. He's getting a good amount of strikeouts this year, but he is walking a lot of guys. So he's not a free agent until 2024. I feel like with the Rockies, the reason he's on this list is because there are, teams that will probably find him intriguing because he's young, he's cost controlled, he's not expensive. So, and he's a young guy that could help out in a rotation. And for the Rockies, they're a rebuilding team right now. So, but do the Rockies maybe want to hang on to someone like this? I could see that. I could definitely see that. I feel like right now, Hermann Marquez, I'm going to go very unlikely. I just don't see it. I feel like the Rockies have more reason to keep him than to get rid of him. They could use the prospects. They definitely could. They could get something for him. I just don't see it. I feel like he's going to stay. The Rockies, hey, one good offseason. They could be back to being a contender. We'll have to wait and see. I just don't see it. I feel like there's no reason to really get rid of him. They need pitching. I just don't see it. Starling Marte. Here's an interesting one. He just got traded to the Marlins last year. I believe so. He is injured at the moment. He is injured. So Starling Marte, I believe he has a fractured rib, so he's going to be out for a while. So as of yesterday, he has been cleared for rotational work, but he's not yet ready to resume baseball activities. So he's going to be out for a little while. So I feel like I read this on MLB Trade Rumors that he could be out for a couple of months. I don't know. I feel like that's not going to be enough time. I don't know if the Marlins are out of it. He's in the last year of his deal. I think I definitely, it's hard because is he going to, teams know what you're getting with him. He was having a good start to the year, but what is he going to be like coming back from a rib injury? That's hard. For a guy that's, that twists his body swinging a bat for a living and then running around in the outfield, that could be very problematic. So if he comes back by July and he really, puts on for a few weeks, shows he's healthy, I think it's possible. I mean, there's no reason for the Marlins really to keep him. They might as well try and get rid of him if they're not in it. The Marlins right now, they're 12-16. I don't see the Marlins doing anything this year. They got a fun team. I don't know. I just feel like they're not quite there. So I'm going to put Marte. Where am I? Here. I'm going to put Marte as... I'm going to put him as maybe, just because of the injury. If he was healthy, I would put him as a likely. But as of right now, you just don't know what's going on with him with health-wise. I don't see... I don't know. Like, I just feel like you can't really put... you can't put an accurate answer on this one right now because you just don't know where he's going to be at health-wise. If he's healthy, I definitely think likely. I mean, why not? I mean, there's no reason to keep him, especially if you're out of it. I would even put him maybe as a very likely. But just because of the health, I don't know. I feel like that's going to be the biggest thing. So I'll put him as a maybe for right now. If he's healthy, I could even make an argument for very likely. But maybe right now just because of health. We're down to 4. Noah Syndergard. Here's an interesting one. If you go back to this article, Noah Syndergard got 1 vote from an executive. So it says here, given the Mets' expectation for a postseason spot, a move of either Conforto or Syndergard feels like a long shot. But should the club fall out of the race, these 2 impending free agents could have significant impact for another team, especially a Noah Syndergard. So, Conforto I do have as very unlikely, just because, do I want to put him as an unlikely? Because I just feel like this Mets team, they're not going to fall out of it. I think they're too talented. I'll keep him as a very unlikely just because of that. I don't know. He is in the last year of his deal, but Noah Syndergaard, I believe, he is in the last year of his deal. I'm 99% sure. Yes, he is a free agent after this year. So, Noah Syndergaard, very interesting. Coming back from Tommy John, he's looking pretty good, supposedly, according to reports. He's always had pretty decent numbers, gets a good amount of strikeouts. He's pitched in the World Series. I mean, hey, he pitched in the World Series as a rookie. So, Noah Syndergaard, man, if we go take a look at the Mets, let's look at his value. Again, this is really going to come down to, are the Mets going to be in it? So, Syndergaard, where are you at? So he's got an 18.1 value. Again, it's going to come down to, are the Mets going to be in it? So if we look at Syndergaard, he's not making a lot of money. He's going to be coming back soon. What is the news? Okay, come on, mouse. What are we doing right now? So Noah Syndergaard. So he threw a simulated game, and Carlos Carrasco too. So be on the lookout for Carlos Carrasco. So, but what is the news on Syndergaard? Is there a time frame? So a week ago he hit 97. He's already rehabbing, so he should be back in June at some point. So he's gonna have a lot of time. I'm gonna put very unlikely, just because I just think the Mets are gonna be in it. I just don't see it. I think the Mets are eventually gonna come around. If they are out of it, I think it's possible. I think for a Conforto as well. I think that executive, I don't think he's completely far-fetched in that thinking, where thinking, hey, if the Mets are out of it, they could get some offers for these guys. So I just think, though, because the Mets, they're such a good team, I don't see him getting moved. I just don't see it. That's where I'm at. Here we go. We are down to 3. 3 very good names. Max Scherzer. Ooh. This is an interesting one. I have been on the record. I feel like Max Scherzer, I feel like this is a guy that really could get traded. The Nationals, they are right there, though. This NL East is just so up for grabs right now. The Marlins are 12-16, and they're 2 games back. This NL East has not been good. You got a 500 team right now leading the division. There's so much talent in this division. I don't understand. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand what's happening. But Max Scherzer's Max Scherzer. He's called Mad Max for a reason. Is he going to get traded? I don't know. It depends where the Nationals are at. I don't know how this is going to go. I feel like with the Nationals, like I'm not the biggest fan of the team that they have. I don't like the team that they have right now. They have the lowest run differential in that division. Look at the Marlins. It's so weird. The Marlins have the highest run differential, but they're in last place. It's so weird. But the Nationals, I don't like the offense. It's just such a weird team to me. I don't get this team. I don't know. I think they need the prospects. I'm going to go likely. Just in my opinion, I think he would be a huge addition for a team down the stretch. If a team like the Yankees went and got him, oh my God. Like, that'd be just dumb. Here we go. So let me actually go to the article. So Max Scherzer got 2 votes. But he's going to become a free agent. So he's going to be 37 before the deadline. He's on an expiring contract, and the Nationals are an aging club that needs to get younger and acquire more depth on their roster. So I agree. Here's the thing with the Nationals. They did not trade Bryce Harper. When Bryce Harper became a free agent, or before he was about to become a free agent, they didn't trade him. And they hung on to him. And they did offer him a deal, but he went to Philly. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm going to go likely with him. I just think this Nationals team, this is more me where I'm not a believer in this Nationals team. I don't know what it is. I'm not getting the same vibes with this Nationals team like they were down the stretch. I don't know. Max Scherzer would be huge for a contending team like the Yankees or the White Sox, or even like a team in the National League as well, like the Cardinals or someone. I mean, I really think he would be huge for a playoff team. I think Max Scherzer, my personal opinion, if I were to make a prediction, I say he gets traded. I think he would be the biggest name on the move this trade deadline. I could see it. We're down to 2. Corey Seager and Trevor Story, 2 shortstops that are going to be headlining the shortstop market come this offseason. Corey Seager is a very interesting one. Now, listen, I mean, because you're thinking right now, right? The Dodgers, I mean, right now, whatever. The Dodgers are 17-14. They're hitting an awful stretch right now. I don't care. This Dodgers team's really good. They just lost Dustin May, which is a huge blow, but they have the depth. They have the depth. I said this in the offseason. I mean, it's very obvious, but they have the depth because, I mean, they have all these guys. And so it wasn't completely far-fetched to think this, or to know how deep this team was. So because even if they lose a Dustin May, they're still good. So the Dodgers, 17-14 right now. I don't care about their record right now. They're going to be there in the end. They're going to be running. They're going to be going for a World Series this year. They're built for it. So Corey Seager, though, very interesting. Now, taking a look, what's he doing? Could you see Kyle Seager and Corey Seager get traded? Okay. Corey Seager, 250, 4 home runs, 786 OPS. I mean, if we take a look at the Dodgers depth chart right now, the one thing with the Dodgers, so right now, if you take a look at the shortstop, you could put someone like a Chris Taylor there. I mean, they could do it. They would still be a pretty good team. You're going to have Bellinger coming back eventually. You could put Taylor there at short. You could. They could withstand that loss. So let's look at what they have in this article. This guy said, I wonder if there was a deal there that could make the Dodgers consider it. They would still have a winning team without him on the roster. The problem would be that they would be helping a team they could be potentially be competing with in October. But that front office is pretty creative and is willing to take chances. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, my gut says I don't see it. I'm going to go very unlikely, Corey Seager. I just don't see it. I think they're going for it. I think they're going to hold on to him. I just don't see it. I think maybe they'll get some phone calls, but I think Corey Seager in the end, if they were not a contending team, yeah, sure, absolutely. But they're a contending team. I don't see it. I think they're going to hang on to him. Last but not least, Trevor Story. Trevor Story. Now, let's take a look at the numbers with Trevor Story. So with the Rockies this past offseason, they traded Nolan Arenado, one of the biggest trades in recent memory. Trevor Story's off to a pretty good start. 303 average. He's got the 20 RBIs. He's got an 898 OPS. That's as good of a season from the shortstop position that you could have going into your free agent year. So, Trevor Story, if you go to this article, he has the most votes to get traded. So, right now, from the moment the Rockies traded Nolan Arenado this offseason, the expectation has been that Story would be the next star on his way out of Colorado. So, in my opinion, you have to trade him. There's no reason to hang on to him. Where are they even at in the standings right now? 12 and 19. They're a garbage team. They're not going to do good. So, I mean, he's out, like this article says, off to a very good start. I mean, there are some teams. I don't know. If you go take a look right now at some teams where I'm going to look at right now where teams are at when it comes to where they rank shortstop-wise. So, let's take a look at the shortstop rankings per team. So this ranks both offense and defense. Right now, Oakland, they are not getting good production from the shortstop position, but I don't see I mean, could you maybe see Oakland go after a Trevor Story? Maybe. Definitely not Detroit. Definitely not Pittsburgh. Definitely not the Reds. Probably not the Brewers. Maybe. They could use some offense. Could you see the Brewers do it? I don't think they have. I think they need to be adding prospects. Diamondbacks, probably not. Definitely not the Mets. Indians, no. Rays, no. Maybe the Braves. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can move Dansby over. I don't know. Maybe you could do something with an Austin Riley in that kind of a trade. I'm not really sure. Angels. I don't know. You got Jose Iglesias. I don't know. They need pitching. Royals, probably not. Seattle, probably not. Padres, no. Giants, maybe the Giants. I mean, they have good pitching. I mean, Brandon Crawford. I think Brandon Crawford's a free agent too, right? Is he? I don't know, but that's kind of weird though. But if they were wanting to upgrade, he's not doing bad. He's got 5 home runs. I'd probably say no with the Giants. And they got Mauricio Dubon. There's no reason for the Giants to do that. The Yankees are really interesting to me. I mean, Gleyber Torres, he's starting to pick it up a little bit. He's got no home runs, 240 average, a 345 on base. That's pretty good. Could you maybe see the Yankees go after a Trevor Story? I think it'd be a great fit. I think he'd be awesome. He'd be awesome defensively. He'd be an upgrade offensively. I mean, I don't know. Let's take a look. Who else? I mean, could you maybe see the Cardinals? Maybe the Cardinals? That'd be hilarious. Could you imagine that? How hilarious would that be? The Cardinals getting both Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story. That'd be so funny. I would die laughing. I think that'd be really funny. That'd be a huge boost to the lineup. But what are some other teams? You could Marlins, no. Twins, no. Blue Jays. I mean, you got Bo Bichette. I mean, Bichette's having a good year. I mean, they're not gonna move on. They're not gonna get away from him. Who do they got at third? Who's at third right now for the Blue Jays? Isn't it? Well, I thought it was Biggio. Yeah, it is Biggio. So, wow, he's not having a good year. So what the heck's going on with Kevin Biggio? 295 on base. He's not doing good. He's not doing good defensively either. So I don't know what's going on there. Could you maybe see the Blue Jays do something? I don't know. I mean, Rockies have the 7th best shortstop, or they're 7th right now in shortstops. Baltimore, no. Texas? Could you maybe see Texas go after him for the future? Try and re-sign him? Maybe. White Sox? I mean, oh, yeah, no, you got Tim Anderson. Sorry, I just went completely blank on that. Red Sox? No. Cubs? No. Now, I don't know. It's just there's not too much of a market, but I could see some teams. I don't know. I think the Yankees, you could make some kind of a move for them. You could move some guys around. They have the flexibility. Maybe one of these guys in the infield could go back to the Rockies in a deal. I don't know. I don't think St. Louis would do it. Maybe the Phillies. They got Didi. I don't think the Phillies. They could, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna go right now. I gotta go very likely. I feel like a team is going to make a deal for this guy. I think the Rockies, if they don't trade him, to be honest with you, could you maybe see a scenario where the Rockies traded Nolan Arenado, but hung on to a Trevor Story? How ridiculous would that be? Maybe they could re-sign. I'm going to go, I want to say very likely for him, because they should trade him. But could you maybe say likely instead? Maybe they could sign him to an extension? CB Philly Cards, that's possible as well. Maybe you could move Didi. I don't know, maybe you could do something with Didi. They got Alec Boehm at third, so you can't move him over there. Alec Boehm's not doing too good. 222 average, 254 on base. Could Didi play third? I don't know. You just have to trade him. That's why I want to put him here. But is there going to be a deal that the Rockies are going to make or that they're going to like? And maybe they try to sign him long term? I don't know. This is tough because I just don't know. And you're right about that, Jonathan Miller. They have some contracts to figure out on their own team. I feel like with Story, man, I'm gonna go likely. I think you got to go likely with him. I don't think it's a bang bang thing. I just think you have to trade him. But will they? Will they? Are they going to have a trade that they like? That's the only thing I'm not too sure of. I just don't know if a trade is going to line up for their liking. And maybe they just go for it and go and try to sign him. But does he want to re-sign? You know what? Whatever. I'll go very likely. I'll go very likely because I just think you have to trade him. I think you have to get something for him. But then teams kind of know that too. They kind of know that. They kind of have the leverage a little bit. So maybe they're not, I don't know. I'll go likely. I was going to go very likely. I'm going back and forth here. I don't know. It's just hard just because you don't know. There's not a bang-bang trade out there for him. And there's not a bang-bang fit. And do the Rockies, are they gonna like a deal? I'll go likely for Trevor Story just because there's not really great fits out there. There's not a ton of but then again, maybe a team would maybe want to try and trade for him so they can try and sign him long term. I'll go very likely. I'll end it on a fun note. I think you got to trade him. If you're the Rockies, you have to trade this guy. You got to get something for him. You can't just let him go in free agency and get nothing for him. I'll go very likely. If they don't get rid of him, I think that'd be dumb. I think you got to do something. I'm gonna put hope out there, thinking there's a deal out there for a Trevor Story. There's not a lot of fits for him, but I think a team will figure it out. I think they'll make it work. That's what I'm hoping, at least. I hope Trevor Story gets a chance to play some playoff baseball down the stretch. So, everyone, that's what I got here. Here's my rankings. These are the guys that I think are very likely to get moved. Trevor Story, I'll probably put in between. It's tough. That's a tough one. I ended it on a very tough one. So, these are the guys I have for likely. These are the guys I have for maybes, unlikelies, and very unlikelies. So, let me know what you think in the comments, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I really appreciate that. Before I get out of here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Go follow me on Twitter if you want to talk some baseball there. Everyone, that is all I have for tonight. I want to thank you again for coming out. Have a good rest of your night. And, yeah, I will Talk to you next time.